Hi everyone, welcome to rachelpichleryoga. If we haven't met before, my name is Rachel. Today we're doing a nice lower body focused flexibility practice, so find just a little bit of space to move and let's get started. So let's begin today in a nice lovely toe squat. So you can come over onto your knees. I like to bring my knees together and my big toes together. Tuck all your toes underneath. Don't forget about the baby toes. And then either sitting back on your heels, or you can keep your hands on the floor and just send those hips back towards your heels as much as you need to feel the love through those feet, through those toes especially, unless you're one of the lucky few that doesn't feel this. You're really missing out. So relax through your shoulders, forget about your feet for a moment, maybe even close your eyes. Let's take a nice big inhale and a bigger exhale. Take another nice big breath in and out. Awesome, you guys. One more full breath here. And after that nice exhale, you can start to come out of your toe squat. Bring your hands down, untuck those toes, give them a nice little tap, a little shake even. We're going to be sitting back on our heels, untucking the toes, so resting on the top of the feet, sitting back on the heels. You might be staying here, maybe even leaning forward slightly, or maybe you're able to lean back and perhaps lift one knee or both knees, feeling the length through the top of the ankles, maybe all the way up to the shins, to the knees. If you're able to balance, you could rest your hands on your lap or just keep your hands behind you. And if you are lifting one knee, maybe try lifting the other. And let's take just one more breath. And then slowly start to lower. Lower back down, lift the hips. Find your tabletop. Give those ankles a nice shake if you need it. Awesome job, you guys. We're going to make our way into a lunge. So you can bring your right foot forwards. If you want some extra cushion for your back knee, maybe you've got a towel of some kind, maybe you're just going to roll your mat over, maybe you don't need anything, but rest on the back of that top foot and sink your hips forwards and down. Let's keep our chest resting on our front knee, our hands on the mat, and just sink those hips forwards and down. Nice hip flexor stretch. Awesome, you guys. Just staying here for another breath. And then we're going to start to heel toe this front foot over to the right side of our mat. So heel toe your foot over. Turn your toes out on an angle. Let your knee fall out to the side as well. Bring your hands under your shoulders, a little lizard. Stay resting on the top of that back foot, but you might push into it and lift your knee slightly. And then lower it back down, just to relax through the hips a little bit more. Let that knee continue to fall out to the side. Lizard. And just here for another breath. And then we're going to move our foot. So that knee's kind of falling out to the side a little bit. I want you to start to bring it in towards your shoulder and pivot your foot so your toes are pointing straight forwards. So your knee's going to hug towards your shoulder. Your toes are going to point straight forwards, and you're still sinking those hips forwards and down. Nice job, you guys. Just one more breath. And then we can start to heel toe our foot all the way over towards the left side. Heel toe, heel toe. And then lay down the shin. Lay down your shin. Feel free to slide your foot closer to the left hip. Pigeon. Push into your fingertips, kind of rock side to side a little bit so you find your center. You're not leaning over more to one side than the other. Take an inhale as you lift up through the chest. You can stay lifted, or you can add a tip forwards. Not here long, so just let that upper body fall as far as it wants to fall. Relaxing through that right leg. Nicely done. You guys stay for another breath if you'd like, or you can start to move. You can start to lift yourself back up. So we're going to be pushing into our hands. We're going to find our way back into our lunge as gracefully as we are able. So you might be tucking your back toes, pushing yourself up, bringing your foot to the floor between your hands. Again, be as graceful as you're able to be. Sink into your lunge again. You can keep your chest low, your hands on your mat, or this time you might want to lift your chest, but resist the urge to push into the front foot and straighten that leg. Just usually happens. And instead sink those hips forward and down again. Feel that nice, deep hip stretch. Awesome work, you guys. One more breath. And then bringing your hands down to your mat, send your hips back half splits. If you want, you can point your toes up towards the ceiling, lengthening through that front leg though. Keep your chest lifted or melted down. Awesome work, you guys. So we're just going to start to lift up our chest. We're going to pivot. We're just going to pivot to the left side. So walk your hands over towards the left and then start to let your legs turn as well. So your right leg will be out to the side. Point your toes forwards. Keep your hips high and just start to drop your chest. Maybe to the forearms. Maybe you're going to stay on your hands. And then see that right foot. If you can just turn your toes in a little bit more and send your heel out a little bit more. You might be able to find some movement through that foot, or maybe you're as far as it's going to turn, but just push into that foot. Try to get the outside edge of your foot connected to the floor or your mat. Awesome work, you guys. And then you can slowly start to lift back up and slide your right knee back in to your tabletop. Give your hips a nice little rock side to side. Shake it out a little bit. And then we're just going to be switching. So our left foot can come forward, setting up our lunge. Maybe rolling the mat over for that back knee. Find that right hip flexor now. Forget about what we just did on that left side and find that right hip flexor. Nicely done, you guys. Keeping the chest low for this round of our lunge. Finding that right hip flexor. I'll say it one more time. And then we're going to start to heel toe this left foot to the edge of our mat for our lizard. So turn the toes out on an angle. Let the knee fall out to the side as much as it wants to. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Maybe push into the back foot. Lift the knee for a moment. And then drop it down and soften even more. Let gravity take those hips and try to pull them down towards your mat. Nice work, you guys. And then we're just going to move that front foot and that knee. Pull your knee in towards your shoulder. Pivot your foot a little bit so your toes are pointing forwards. It should feel a little bit different. Sinking into the hips. And when the knee wants to fall out to the side, just hug it back in. A little bit of effort there to hug that knee towards the shoulder. And continue to sink into the hips. Awesome work, you guys. When you're ready for it, heel toe your foot all the way over to the right, laying down the shin and setting up your pigeon. Scooching that heel towards your hip if you need to, adding a nice little rock side to side if you need to, and then decide if you want to add a forward fold. Maybe melting it down for just a few moments. And if you are melting it down, just forget about that left leg. And focus on just relaxing as much as you can through the upper body. That can include your jaw, your shoulders, your tummy, your core. And you can stay for another breath, or 2 or 3, before you start to lift back up in that weird, awkward transition into our lunge. However you can get there. Push into your hands, push into your back foot though. Lift yourself up, plant that foot, untuck your back toes again. Sink into those hips again. Find your right hip flexor. Option to lift the chest this time. Resisting the urge to lengthen that front leg. It just wants to. It wants to sneak out of that hip flexor stretch. Or maybe that's just me. But I don't think it is. Soften those shoulders. Nice work, you guys. Take another breath. And then start to come back and make your way into your tabletop again. Rock those hips side to side. And I'm just realizing that I forgot to take you into your half split with your left foot forwards. So let's do that now. Bring your left foot forwards again. Find your lunge and then start to send the hips back just enough to lengthen the left leg. Forget that I missed this part. And enjoy it now that we are here. Maybe pointing your toes up towards the ceiling. Nicely done, you guys. We are going to do our pivot. We're going to pivot towards the right side this time. So walk your hands over, then let your legs turn as well. Maybe scooching your toes in a little bit more, sending the heel out and just kind of pushing into that foot. We'll keep our hips high and we can drop our chest as much as we'd like. Pushing into that foot. So you might feel this through your hamstring. You might feel this more through your outer lower leg and ankle. You'll feel it everywhere through that leg if you're lucky. And then you can start to make your way back up. Slide your knee in and set up your tabletop. Now we can rock our hips side to side. Shake it out a little bit. Awesome work, you guys. Cross your ankles. Have a seat. You can either sit cross-legged or you can play around with Lotus. You can take one foot and bring it towards your hip crease, half Lotus, adding a tip forwards perhaps. Or you can bring your other foot on top into your other hip crease as best you can for full Lotus. Maybe adding a little tip forwards or just stay sitting nice and tall. You're going to feel this through your ankles, through your hips even, maybe even your entire lower body. Again, if you're lucky. The luckier you are, the more you feel. I like to say. Nicely done, you guys. Let an inhale lift you up if you are folding forwards and just switch the way that you are crossing your legs. Maybe you're just sitting cross-legged. Maybe you're in half Lotus. Maybe you are in full Lotus. But sit tall or tip forwards. Notice how one side feels compared to the other. And with an inhale, you can slowly rise all the way up. Keep your legs as they are, uncross them so you're a little bit comfier if you'd like, but bring your hands together in front of your heart. Awesome practice, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, namaste.